Yes. Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing fantastic. I'm just today catching up on with Amir Anzur, and we're going to just talk about a little bit on what's happening new. He just moved to Pakistan, leaving London, and the whole world wants to go to London from Pakistan, and he's the one who actually see the riches in Pakistan and returning to mine those riches. And we are also going to talk about entrepreneurship, growth in our country, and also on 10x Pakistan. So Amir, good to see you, brother. How's
Good to see
everything? Have
you.
you settled in?
Good to see you. Yes, it's I'm having a fantastic time I'm in Islamabad now. And yes, I remember speaking to you when you came to London about 6 months ago, and you were talking about this 10x Pakistan vision. And I really got excited about it, where we discussed about, an average Pakistani making $1,500 a year and how to get it to 15,000. And so I'm excited to be here. There's so much opportunity because we are at the bottom of what people make in the world. And with digital, it doesn't matter where we are at. I'm living a much better lifestyle than I was in London. You visited my small, humble flat. Um, I have a cook, so I get home cooked meals. If I need a driver, I get a personal trainer that comes to my house every day. Those types of things that you couldn't afford while earning. My clients are in California and New York, London, and so I can have clients anywhere. But I calculate that I need about 5,000, at least $5,000 to live in the US, sorry, in London, if not 5,000 pounds, but $5,000 to have like even a basic living. And I am, in Pakistan, you live with your family. So like my rent is free. My and I can hire resources for $100 here to help me make things happen. And as an entrepreneur, you want to save cash. You don't want to spend on rent when you don't need to. So I came back to my parents' place. This desk here that I'm sitting on, we bought when I first moved to Belgium when I was 8 years old, and it was a secondhand desk. So this was 1986. And so this is probably from 1982 or 1980, the desk that I'm sitting on. I just have the laptop, and it's a pretty simple, basic life. But I want to prove to people that you can make money from Pakistan, or it doesn't matter if you're in Zimbabwe or Pakistan, but you can really do this. So I'm really excited, and I want to meet passionate, exciting people like yourself that are making a difference. There's a lot of negativity that comes in. Oh, this is happening in politics, or this is happening in religion, or whatever that thing is. Whereas you meet people like yourself, you connect with good people, you have good coffees, you get positive reinforcement, and out of 220 million, you're gonna find your crowd. So really excited. Good that you texted me just now at 2:15 in the morning. We're both working. This is like the true passion. Everyone else is asleep. And we are, working on our dreams and our vision. I was updating my website. And so I'm making things happen here.
So whereabouts in Islamabad are you living? Which area?
uh, in F11.
Oh, the prime time area with the best of the best. Sure, fantastic. You should visit our center.
Yep.
And if you're living alone, what I can do is I can give you a place there, and I can set you up with a podcast studio, and you can start doing professional podcasting, and we can edit them for you. We're starting a
Okay.
school there, a branch of the school, which I just sent you information on.
Yep.
So, in return, when in a few months we will have students, you can mentor those students and teach them entrepreneurship and just about life or whatnot, and give them work as and then I mean, it's not going to happen like tomorrow, but like a year from now, you can see that school will do fantastic, like it is doing in Karachi. It's doing really amazing, and I have these kids for a year and a half now. In the last 1 year, it's really picked up, and I think in the next 2 years they're going to rock the world. They're going to just become amazing leaders, and they're starting to become amazing leaders. So I want to. I have this space sitting in. I have 6 apartments in Islamabad, so you can just use one of them and just use it. Um, and yeah, see what we can do together on. It's in Barako, so it's not Islamabad. It's kind of out of the way, but it's really nice to breathe over there, and it's really nice. If you want to use it, just go and check it out.
Oh, okay. Do you already have students there, or you're training students?
So we're taking students, we're taking teachers for now and training them for the first 3 months, and then we're also going to start taking teachers, students. We're going to start with just 20 students for now, and
Okay.
then 3 months later we will take another 20 students and take it easy, take it slow. And yeah, so for now there's no students. So for now it is just staff, and it's just trainees, like teachers who are there, who are coming in just to learn how to use the technologies. Most of the people I find, girl teachers, they don't use the internet at all. They don't have a clue about AI. They don't have any idea about web designing and stuff. So I am very keen on actually teaching teachers more than anybody else, but they don't want to learn anything. So I have to hire them and I have to pay them to teach them. But in the process, the students learn a lot. So when in my experience, the s- my students learn at 70% learning capacity, and my teachers learn at 10 to 15% learning capacity. But at the same time, the teachers have finally become, like Iqbal says, खिर्द को गुलामी से आज़ाद कर दे, जवानों को पीरों का उस्ताद कर दे. So literally, the Jawan have become the teachers of the peers of the teachers. So that's brilliant what's happening. You should fly into Karachi sometime. We are 50% sure we'll have a conference on the 15th on impact makers. Two of my friends from Sweden are flying in, and one of my friend from the US is flying in, and it's on impact. It's going to be in the school, and we're trying to poach one of the high worth individuals to come and start up an accelerator at our school, a business accelerator for the kids. My goal is very simple. I want to train them first 3 years. I want to teach them how to network, how to use the technologies and stuff, build them a very nice network, make them very influential on the internet, and then start a business at the 8th grade and help them sell it for at least $1 million at 12th grade. So you'll be a millionaire before you even graduate from college. So that's kind of the vision. I don't think that's too hard, but it's going to take some tweaking to get there.
Awesome. I have a 7-year-old son. I'd like to send him to your school. But yeah, so basically, how many students do you have now in Karachi?
So we have around 120 students in Karachi at the moment.
Wow. And
Um,
how's their English? So they start with, do you have a pre-qualification? They can be like anyone can come in, or do you take the test, or what's the entry requirement?
initially when we started, it's in a slum area, so we just took people who didn't pay us anything. We gave them the computers, we gave them the smartphones, we gave them the internet, we gave them everything. And over the year, they have started to conversate with people from overseas, and they actually learn English just by listening to English with these foreigners. So one of the kid has done 400 interviews, another one has 300 interviews, and just by listening and just nodding, and they just actually learn English. And now we have an AI called Annie, and we have also built another one for ourselves, which actually just talks to you for half an hour or as long as you want. So we do an hour, half an hour class every day for the student to talk to Annie about your wala. So we give everyone a problem which they need to solve in 7 years, or actually 10 years. And then we don't teach biology, chemistry, physics. We don't teach anything. We just teach how to solve one problem, and that's all you learn. And if you need to learn biology and physics and chemistry related to your problem, then you will go in and ask the AI and use AI, just like a normal entrepreneur would do. So it's kind of an entrepreneurial academy without all the unnecessary stuff which the school was crapping our heads with. I mean, you have an MBA from Switzerland. You're not like, I mean, how much of that MBA and the high school and university are you actually using? What if you were being trained from the age of 8 till 16 just to do all this? It's like, if you were supposed to be a swimmer, you would start early, like 5, 6, 7, to become a fantastic swimmer. Um, so the qualification is that you have to have a computer, you have to have a cell phone, you have to be able to have a conversation in English. But then, since they now talk every day from with Annie, so I think by next year majority of my students would sound like an American, because they're actually going to be spending more time with this American AI than anybody else, because she becomes your best friend. She answers everything, she knows everything, she smiles, she never frowns, she's very sweet. And it's just amazing the quality of data you can get from it. So for your son, we have started. Well, I came to London again for this BET show, the largest education show in the world, and I met a lot of people, and they kind of, and then I met Genius U group, and they kind of wanted me to see if I can start a school in London. So I did the math, and that would cost me $250,000 to start, but it actually makes um, $500,000 a year on top of it if I started. So before I started next year or the year after, I started taking inquiries from the UK, and I'm already taking admissions from the UK, where I will need your help on that. So we're going to take 20 students from the UK and run them through 1 year program, and then extend our program to the 7 year program, like we have in for Pakistani, because I don't really understand the UK market. You do, but I need to know. I want to hands-on experience what kind of obstacles I run into. So I want to do a pilot with just 20 students for now from the UK, hopefully from London, and the we're taking people who are like 8 to 10 years of age, who are who their parents give us consent on being on social media, because everything we do is online and it's public. So we don't hide anyone. We basically are trying to make them an influencer. And in order to do that, you need to create content in order to connect. So, we show them a TED talk every day, and then we show them how to connect to a TED talk speaker every day, and then you have to interview that TED talk speaker every day. So imagine in 3 years you will have already interviewed a couple of hundred TED Talk speakers. What kind of brain power you would have? What kind of communication would you have? What kind of network would you have by doing all this?
That's awesome. I mean, the thing about Britain or England is that they give you a lot of grants, right? So, like, if you are taking in students, you might not make money from them directly, but the government might pay you. But there's a lot of health and safety and regulation. And I think in Pakistan, you'll be more free to do whatever you want. In England, especially with like younger kids, you might have to, pass certification and do this qualification and that. So, but what I always think is, you are in an innovation stage. So if you really like conquer this stuff in Pakistan, which costs you a fraction of the price, when you go to England, and I think England is respected as an education. You get that stamp that this is British education. London is, the hub. The great thing about London is, it's a home of government, home of finance, home of tech, and a home of media in the UK. Whereas in the US, you have New York for for finance, Washington D.C. for government, LA for media, and San Francisco for tech. All that is in London. So and the subcontinent respects London. So if you can start your venture here, like as you've done, I think you've been running for a couple of years now. Learn all the stuff, get the admin all smoothed out, and then because it's going to be expensive to being in London, the rent, all that kind of stuff, the admin, there's a lot of like paperwork to do. But get your staff that is going to go through the paperwork, maybe a team of 2 or 3 with good English skills sitting in Karachi that can go through, because all the stuff will be on websites. That's the good part about England. Like the information will be available. So that will be like, okay, follow this rule. You have to go to that rule and do that. But I think what you're doing is very unique in Pakistan. That that it will, and I believe you were doing even an open source education system, right? Well, were you doing that? Was that something I read or I heard from one of your talks?
So everything we're doing is in public and it's open source. So if somebody wants to take everything we're doing and just put theirs, do it again, we can all collaborate together. So I'm not hiding anything what I'm doing. I'm not hiding the curriculum. I'm not hiding the systems. It's all open source. And for London, as I said, we're doing it online. So it's a 4 hour a day online class, 5 days a week, where we teach AI and all this stuff which I was telling you about, which will make you into a phenomenal future leader. We're just doing the first year, but it's all online. So we are not going to take permissions and anything. This is an after school program, which we will start after that. And then as we get our grip together, as we understand, as we get more traction from people, because basically the whole thing has been driven by people. I started this with a totally different shape, and I've been pivoting every 3 months, every 6 months, and now it's taking its own shape and it's taking its own life form. And I think in 2 more years, it'll be very interesting. I'm very excited about the project. And generally, I've been dead. I have not been very excited about anything, but this has been very, very exciting because the kids are doing amazing. The parents are like, do whatever, and there are so many kids available you can just play with, meaning not with their life, but they can really transform into fantastic people. So a lot of people, a lot of schools are watching us. A lot of people come every day to visit us, and so people are already talking about it. People are already like, you've already done it. So, and in the UK, I found that there is a thing called a UK free school system where 70% curriculum is decided by the parent. So we might actually apply for a free school license where you get the government support, is recognized, but it's still a free school, meaning we decide 70% of the curriculum of that. So I will see what happens. I met a lot of interesting people. I'm getting a lot of traction, and uh, I'm happy about it. It's giving me a good feeling. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg to do it on a line, and I can experiment with it and see how it goes.
Yeah, and the benefit from going from London is you can become global, right? Like not many foreigners are coming to Karachi, whereas everyone goes visit schools. Like the King of Denmark will go. Someone from Nigeria will be in London at some stage. So all these other people, they go. You can invite them in, see your school, and just export it. The technology, I think I'm interested and curious to see the business model, but if you're helping people create wealth, this is how the endowment system in the US works, right? Because they help their students create a lot of wealth. And when they create that wealth, they donate it back to the university and where they got it. So you'll have a lot of wealth being created. And I think that, yeah, it's definitely a good idea going into London. And I would even say, even maybe even has advantages over a place like Dubai, It's just a bit more old school. And yeah, so you can get it. Might be not as easy to get students as it was in Pakistan, because parents are, you know, they're looking for the new, they'll trust you. Um, but I think once you step in, you're going to recruit students, they're going to see results. And when they see results, more and more are going to join into this. So that's really, really exciting. And you're going with the brand Rehan School, right?
Yeah, I bumped into a fellow on the and on the train, and he was going to the same event, and we became friends. And he's 70 something, and he has been a very driving force. He took me to the Genius U, and he's very excited about it. I like him a lot. He's like you, like a genius, and but he hasn't been able to make it. And I mean, he has all the right components, just like you. He just is missing few zeros in his bank balance. So I he suggests that Rihan is fine, your name is fine, don't have to worry about it. And then I went to and saw Thomas, what's
Power.
his name, Thomas Power. So I
Yeah.
went to one of his lunches, and I bumped into another lady there who has another friend who has 5,000 plus uh, parents in her network. She's already doing something with online education. So we have a meeting with them. So I think 20 students shouldn't be that hard. My personal brand is not that lame in UK. Even there's lots of Pakistanis, and then these people said, we have a lot of underprivileged students. Would you like to take them? Said sure, we will take them, and we'll sponsor them. I don't mind, but we have to start somewhere, right? So I was thinking to go after Ramadan and do like a book launch. We'll do a kind of like a book tour about the school around the UK, and I have a lot of invites available. So small little gatherings, corner meeting type of things, and I have a good feeling about this because the good schools in the UK are charging £4,000 a month, and if I can make a decent school for £1,500 a month, I'm already doing well. So we will see. We will see. I'm not thinking too much about it. I'm just just doing it, just like a normal Rihan thing. I'm not really overthinking it.
Yeah, look, I looked at schools. For instance, a private school for my son, uh, American School of London is about £3,000 a month, right? Yeah, £3,000 a month. Most of them are around that thing. You are doing a physical school in London? Is that what you were thinking, or
For now,
online?
for now, it's not a physical school. For now, it's an online Zoom-based school,
Okay,
and it's only 20 students, and it's only £200 a month.
two
And
hundred pounds a
once,
month.
correct,
Okay,
for 4 hours a day. Once
and yeah.
once we do a physical one, I did a business plan on £1,200 a month, and it's still very profitable and it's still doable. But the good thing is that in our school, we're teaching the kids how to earn also. So the
Yeah.
kid has to earn £100 a month on sixth grade. There's no option, and he pays us even in Pakistan 50% of that income. Then when he goes to the seventh grade, he has to earn $300 or pounds a month. And then again, he has to pay 50% of that as school fees because we've been investing on him. So we're making the student partner. And what this will do is it will allow other schools to copy this model. And then there's 26 million out of school children in Pakistan. There are lots of bad schools in Pakistan who don't make a lot of money. They can copy this model, and then these kids become money makers for them and for their parents. And they and the process they're learning. In the
Or you could
process, they're actually earning.
you
Huh?
could franchise the Rayon brand, I guess, as well, right?
Yeah, I will. I'm not very business savvy at the moment. I'm just trying to crack this model,
Mm.
and maybe somebody else will come in, steal the idea, and scale it very quickly. Maybe I will do it. I don't know. I am right now, I'm just focused on achieving the
Yeah.
small goal for this limited amount of humans who are working with me. I'm just enjoying the process of creation of this whole process. So I invited a friend of mine who was an educationist, top three educationist in the country, a year and a half ago. He said, "You're doing fantastic, but you can be assured, no, you're not going to make any money off it. Somebody will come in, steal the idea, put his brand name on it, and kick you out of the whole thing." I said, "That's fine as long as it works." So we'll see. We'll see how it works.
No, I
I'm
think
I'm not
what
very worried.
I used to worry about competition a lot, right? And like I've done some software. I was always like, oh, Microsoft could come up with it. But the thing is, no one, you have the learning, right? Like if I try to do this now, you started this, what, 2 years ago? And I will be 2 years behind you, right? And because of all the learnings and everything that you've got, right? So you will always be like a little bit ahead. And so, people will try to copy Tesla, but Tesla will be ahead because they got first mover advantage. You can set up franchises, you can set up the Rehan brand. And I've been seeing you do this for the last 10 years. I remember when I moved to Pakistan last time in 2013, you sent me on the dumb phone, the Rehan school. You had it on the phone, and now you've just upped the game, and thought, and especially you've taken a proactive view on AI and actually using it. I think traditional schools are much more tied with their hands, because they have traditional teachers, and so they have to follow more rules. You are making up the rules as you go along. So I think that's really, really powerful. You're in a very good position, and having 120 students is really amazing, because if you have that audience, out of those 120, even if 5% make it, they will inspire the rest, right? Like the challenge, one of the challenges we have in Pakistan is that we don't have like Elon Musk, right? Like everyone talks about Elon Musk, and that by its nature creates entrepreneurs and innovators. Or if you have Thomas Edison, people dream about it, but
We have
if
Amir Anzur. We have Amir Anzur.
yeah, so we have the Rehans or the Amarans, or I mean, there's Azad Chaiwala and all these people that I see on like Sunny Ali, etc. But it's still not to that level that we have on traditional media, that Elon Musk gets the PR that they get. So I think if someone from the slums sees someone like them making $1 million, because I think making $1 million in Pakistan is almost as difficult as making $1 billion in US, right? Because I think it's like I always thought you can make $1 billion company in Pakistan, but I believe now, I believe like the market is small, as in there's not like an average customer in the US makes $75,000, and there's 330 million of them. In Pakistan, we're 220 million, but an average person only has $1,500, and there's not much spare change to like invest in a t-shirt or whatever like that thing is. So if we can teach them to create $1 million business, a million is you can have as good of a life here than $100 million in the US almost. And so there's going to be that impact that you will have on Karachi, and then subsequent places. But now I think what's good is if you do something in Barako or Islamabad, you will you will get bureaucrats that you can show this stuff to, and you can get government buy-in, right? Because if you do it in Karachi, the bureaucrats are in Islamabad, they're not going to visit it, but convincing someone who works in as a secretary or a minister in Islamabad to visit your school is a lot easier. And you need footfall, right? Like you can talk about the amazing stuff, but when they go meet people and meet the students, that's where like more emotion and more buy-in comes in, right? I work with DIL, the Development and Literacy, and the Citizens Foundation, and all these guys. They ask people like me that are based in London or Dubai to do fundraising for them. But the way they really get you is when you're visiting Pakistan, they say, "Come visit our school." And when you visit the school, your heartstrings are pulled, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is like amazing!" And because when you see something on Zoom or you see a video, it's not quite as powerful as going and meeting students and seeing the atmosphere. I've seen quite a few of your videos online, and I think it's really, really fantastic atmosphere that you've created as well. If students are not paying for it, did you have a hard time with dropouts? Like they would start for a couple of weeks and then just stop coming?
Yeah, I did. I had to kick out a lot of people because we did not do any ninth grade and 10th grade anymore. We started off with the seventh grade, so we either pushed them back from the 10th grade to seven. Some of them stuck. Majority of them left. They were like, "No, we have to do metric. We have to do this high school thing," and then they just left. And then since they don't have to pay money, they were not showing up, so we start charging token money, and then we keeping on raising the fee structure so they can see the value. The fee we signed an agreement with them is 20,000 rupees a month, but they have to pay when they earn. They don't have to pay now. So, but my miracle happened when people start to migrate from other parts of the country to my area. So I have around five families with approximately four kids each who migrated near the school, next to the school, and brought their kids and then said, "Here are my kids. Here I am, and please, empower them." And that's when the magic happened because uh, the parents were 100% on board. The parents were like, they're going to show up. And then I hired one of the ladies who actually moved in from Faisalabad, and she was fantastic at convincing others. So it's been a very tough journey. It's been very difficult for me because the principal was cutting the internet access. The principal was, uh, deleting the videos. He was not on board. I couldn't find the team who was on board. So it was very interesting journey. But now he's very on board. He's yeah, I think it's all about making the right team. So for Islamabad, also I have to make the team first, and then the students will come. You're muted, Amir.
How many staff do you have in Karachi, and how many do you envision in Islamabad?
So I want to hire 10 facilitators. We don't call them teachers. I want to hire 10 of them. I'm going to start paying them and teaching them. And in Karachi, we have around 25 also. So we just have them there, and they become the facilitators. So basically, they're learning my processes themselves, and at the same time helping the students learn the same thing. So they're learning the same thing as the students. So they're like in the seventh grade or fifth grade of ours, while they have MBA degrees or whatever degrees they have. So it's just a lot of unlearning, and it's just a slow process.
So you have five to one, five students for every teacher, almost something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Wow, that's that's a really
But
good.
they're not really teaching. They're just hanging out there just like a student. It's for
Okay.
the first 6 months they have to just sit with the student. And again, I hire them and then they run away after a few months, or a month or 2 weeks even, like, "I'm not going to make a video," even though we tell them and everything. And then some parents will stop them. It's a huge, I mean, my curriculum is very, very out there. And so, but I'm happy. It's slow and steady. It's slow and steady. It's happening now. It's just it's
And, and
interesting.
and what do you think about the peculiarities of Pakistan as opposed to if you were doing this in London? Like, for instance, what I found, I have a team. We have about 30 developers and digital marketers in Peshawar. You know, the women, they can't come on video a lot of times. Like even for sometimes I see your students, like women are covered or, you know, like niqab. So they don't have that freedom that maybe someone in London might do, to just go out, and they have less fear of being on camera. What are the peculiarities of being in Pakistan as opposed to in London or New York?
I don't know London much. I so I can't really pinpoint, but I think it has to be Pakistan to start doing this. It could not have been London to start doing this. I would have been broke. I would have had a tough time, much tougher time that I have in Pakistan. In the start, it was nothing to, all the expenses complete together was really nothing. So but I mean, I had another adult center. I made a social media incubator for adults, and that was a really horrible mess because people were really not showing up, and that was really horrible. So I just closed it, and now I'm converting that building also into a school. And I think I'm more inclined toward the school because the kids are really giving fantastic results. And then I asked the parents to join me as a student also. So some of the parents, now I'm putting in a requirement that you, as a parent in our school, you have to study 4 hours a week with us. Otherwise, we'll kick you out. So, all these things I can do in Pakistan, I can't do this. And I don't think I can do this as much. I don't want to get sued by them.
No,
So,
I
in,
was
in
I was reading that in the U.S. it's about 6% of kids that are homeschooled now, right? So that's 5 to 6%. So that's, and it grew quite significantly. So people are believing in homeschooling, and what you do is much better than homeschooling because you're surrounded by other like-minded kids, so you get that social element as well. So that is really powerful on this. And
and
what
it's a similar number in the UK. I have encountered similar number for homeschoolers in the UK. Somebody gave me, God knows, 6 million people are doing homeschooling in the UK. Somebody, all kind of numbers are just popping up. People just messaging me with all kind of data. Right now, I'm only interested in 20 students. I'm not going for the million mark. I'm not going for 1,000 mark. And the reason I'm building, I really want to build. I found, I think it might be a hack for me to create multinational companies. So the biggest challenge I have in my school is every day one student has to interview one human being who's not from
Yeah,
Pakistan. And it's impossible to find so much time from anyone, especially from the Europe or the US. Nobody is going to give me so many hours for free. So basically, I need these students so they can actually talk with a person in Pakistan, and the person in Pakistan will talk with the person in the UK. So they're actually going to create friends online overseas and vice versa. So I need these students to interact with each other. And in the UK school, in the US school, I tried and tried and tried to convince them to allow me to have friendship online, but no, they cannot be on Facebook. Oh no, they cannot be on YouTube. So I'm like, whatever, and I'm just going to create my own school, and where it will be required and you'll have a consent from the parent that the kid will be online. So it's one of the reasons I really want to now open a school in London. I want to open one in Israel. I want to open one in Ukraine. I want to open one in Palestine. I want to force them to talk to each other.
yeah. No, that sounds great. Have anyone started making money yet from these students, or it's too early?
They make 5 to 10,000 rupees a month, which is not the mark which we want to reach. But I am very excited, and I think this 6 months we will reach the $100 to $200 mark very easily, because when they joined in, they were not speaking English, they did not know how to use computer, they were not using any. When I met you last in June, it was just starting, so I just started paying the kids to for an interview. And with an interview, you get the confidence. You don't care what you look like. You don't, after 50 interviews, you're just, you're happy with your skin. And that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to make it happen. And that's what is happening. So now these kids are very happy in their own skin. I was talking to a gentleman today who is in the US who charges around six figures as a consultant, education consultant to high school kids. That's a lot of money. And people pay. And he was saying he was in Pakistan for 4 days, and he said one of my main highlights in Pakistan were your students from your school. And then I offered him today that, my nephew is getting married, and we're going to do a 1 day convention in Karachi at the school. Why don't you come over? And he just said, sure, really, can I come? And he agreed, and he's going to just come so he can spend another few days with these kids. And these kids are just not normal kids. And again, remember, this guy has been talking to people who want to get into Stanford, Harvard, and Oxford, and all those places, and he's comparing these kids to the smartest kids in the US. So these kids are normal, very poor kids, but because they were communicating with people overseas, because they're allowed to use this much technology, because they were just exposed all of a sudden to the new world, they're just very intellectually smart kids. I mean, they're taught to Google every day. They're not supposed to, no teacher is supposed to tell them anything. They're supposed to facilitate to learn with the students. They're also supposed to say no every day to one time to the teacher, with respect. They're also supposed to make a mistake once a day. So I mean, there's so many like real life formulas which we're trying to apply in this, and let's see what happens out of it.
Yeah, and I think we can work together as well. I'll show you what I'm trying to do with amiranzur.com and see if we can work together. Let me just present something to you. Share screen. Uh, can can you see my screen now,
Yeah.
Rehan? Yeah, you can see my screen. Yeah. Basically, I offer all these services, right? Like strategy, travel is a trip out to Islamabad, yes. And like a strategy session is now I've just put the price at like $50 or $49, yes. Now, if you go to the make money and you go to the affiliates tab, right? If they become an affiliate, they can, if they help me sell anything on the website for let's say $10, they'll make $2. Yes. So they have an incentive to promote amiranzor.com. And these are all the services that I have. Yes. From teaching to strategy to uh, I'm even selling karma. Yes. Karma is like good luck, and you can buy it from anywhere from $10 to $1,000. And as I said, with the affiliates, there might be something that we can do together when they can put ads in their programs, because what they're doing is interviewing, and if they do a promotion, they can do something on this as well. Yeah, basically what you get is an affiliate coupon code. Let's say your coupon code is Rehan, and if someone goes and buys something on the website, they will get a discount, and then Rehan will get a 20% commission on that. Yes, and so I'm adding and changing around a few products and services, but that is something that in the next few weeks and months we can talk about how I'm happy to talk with your students on how that whole affiliate marketing thing works, and that I'm not the only one, but there's going to be others. But I feel because I have that Pakistani connection, I'm selling services from here that could help your students.
Yeah, well, I am avoiding all affiliate programs for now. We want to just focus on content creation and real. Um, I mean, not that affiliate is a bad thing, but I don't want them to be salesmen for now. I want them to be content creators, web designer, not web design, video creators, image creators for now, to make money side of it, and then we'll worry about the niche later on.
When you said they're making 5 to 10,000 rupees, some of them, is that through Upwork or Fiverr type gigs, or how are they making money?
So they're getting somehow locally from the people in their network, which they're selling. But I think very soon they will be able to do with Fiverr and Upwork and all, because this week we have started a program where they have to teach one person. We have to take a person who's good at something and then work with them every day for 10 days to 2 weeks, as long as it takes for them to earn the first $100 from
Mhm.
Fiverr, and another team on Upwork, another team on remote jobs. So now part of learning is teaching. So they've reached a stage where they can actually guide other people. So they have to guide every day, 1 hour a day, a human being and the same person, and help them get there. So once they get somebody else, it's like, if you could have helped somebody make $1 million, you would be like, dude, I can do it. And I can do it too. So that's kind of what I've started doing this week. As I said, I'm constantly pivoting and learning and applying. So this is another experiment we're doing now. I think it'll work.
And all your curriculum is where is all your videos and things? Is it like on your YouTube channel?
So every kid has their own content. Every kid has, produces their own YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok every day, their own. So the school has a page called Rehan School Karangi Campus, and that's where most of it is going.
Okay, okay. Awesome. And what do you think about, Pakistan has the second highest number of school kids. I think 20 million I read. What do you think? Do you think that something like what you're doing can address that problem?
I think WhatsApp has released an AI. If you have a US number, you can already use it. I think Annie and ChatGPT is the solution for 26 million people, not a school. And the challenge is that the schools are not adapting Annie and ChatGPT yet. Their parents and their teachers are kind of hearing about it, but they still don't use it. Um, and I think, when I started it, there was no AI back then, 2 years ago when I started off. But now there's AI. I think the number one solution to Pakistan problem is putting $1 billion and getting force everybody to use AI 5 times a day for everything, ask everything, because that will enhance their IQ, their EQ, their network, everything is connected. Because just Perplexity, ChatGPT, and Annie is just insanely amazing. They're just so powerful too, and Gemini. So the number one scape for Pakistan and the world, basically, I think, is right now to use AI as much as possible for everything possible, to learn everything, to whatever you want to do. So that's where I think the solution is to to level up yourself.
Can
For
you
for the schools, out of school children, the model I'm presenting is that when the student starts to earn, he splits money with you, which means that if you start a school for these students, you will instantly start to make money, and then they will also start to make money. So there's a very good business plan around them. And once I'm able to get these kids to $100 a month, every kid, or 10 kids, all the other student schools will follow. There's 105,000 private schools in Pakistan. So, 10 will adopt, then another 20 will adopt, then another 100 will adopt. It'll be just like crazy. But once I'm done, because I am not done yet, I haven't reached, the kids haven't reached the $100 mark or $50 mark yet. But that's my focus for the next 6 months to a year, to find the formula to get them to $100 mark. Because a lot of people, I mean, I marketed Fiverr and Canva like crazy in the last 2 years. Now people are using it, but they're not making money. And the reason I found out that they're not making money, that they're actually not sitting on Fiverr and trying to find out. They're just hoping that they will get a customer. So we're forcing them to actually sit on Fiverr and actively work on it, and you will 100% get a customer. You will not get a customer by praying. You'll get a customer by doing something.
Mhm.
So and it happened by accident also. I just asked one of the guys at my office to to you know to to test them for Upwork, and it found out that he didn't have Upwork account. And I was like, what? Okay, guys, the kids are now teaching that guy Upwork every day for an hour a day. So if he can make $100 in 10 days time, the first $100, that means anybody can make $100, at least at our school, because our school kids are really fantastic at making videos using AI. So if they can make videos using AIs, and I will level up with editing, I will level up with other stuff. It's a level up, it's first I have to get them at some level, and then I will level them up. For now, um, I have like a dozen kids who are star performers, who speak English, who are good with computers, who really understand what's happening. The rest of them are just there for now, and they're just following slowly because they follow the star students. All of us were following the star students. Like you said, we don't have an Elon Musk to follow, so we just, if there was just an Elon Musk, people just follow him, just like Malik Riaz did something for the property industry.
Mhm.
So I'm very focused on these 10, 12 kids. I've been teaching them every day myself for the last one week, and that has taught me many things, and that includes them just sitting with them and letting them teach another guy, and just observing them, and that's all it took. That's all it took. You just have to just sit there and make it, like in everything else in Pakistan. You want to go to a plumber, you go to a mechanic, you just sit there and you force them to do it. So these people are just not self-driven, and again, it's the first time for them, so they're scared to do it, they haven't done it. And I think we're very near to the tipping point. We're very near as a nation to the tipping point. I think government has recognized, everybody has recognized, IT has now become the second export of Pakistan anyways, um, in terms of dollar amount, which is fantastic. And so I think we're going to tip anytime. It's just going to happen. I'm very sure. Just like you are waiting for the tipping point, I think the
Yeah.
whole country has worked enough, and uh, no pain, no gain. We have had enough pain, I think, in order to gain now. I think we're at the tipping point. And once WhatsApp releases the AI, everybody on WhatsApp will be using AI. I have it. I already use it. It's fantastic. Gemini is here. Google is going to embed AI. Siri is going to have AI. Google Android will have AI. So I think it's about to just go bazooka. I mean, I don't know. This year will be just fantastic to look at.
What are the use cases of what AI on WhatsApp? Like, how are you using AI on WhatsApp?
So it's a very simple version of ChatGPT on WhatsApp. So you're not able to have a conversation, but they're going to start just like Annie. I don't know if you've ever tried Annie yet.
No, no. And explain to people that are watching. Yes, I've heard of it, but just actually start from beginning. What is Annie like? Is it basically like Siri, but you can talk to it and ask it? You can have a conversation that'll help your English, or yeah,
So we'll just share Annie. So this is Annie's website. You can have it on the web. You can download the app on Google or App Store, and then you can just sign in with Google, and then you can just talk to her, and just you can call her.
yeah. So you can practice your English.
Let's see. Hi Annie, how are you?
Hey there. I'm doing great, thanks for asking. How about you? How's your day going?
I have this friend from London. His name is Amir Anzur, Amir, last name Anzur. His website is also amiranzur.com. Can you Google him and tell me a little bit of summary who he is?
Oh, I'd love to help you out. But I'm sorry, I'm not able to browse the internet or access external websites. Is there anything else I can assist you with? Maybe we can talk about something else fun or interesting.
Okay, who is Rehan Allahwala?
Avraham Alawala. He's an entrepreneur and digital marketing expert. He's known for his work in the field of social media marketing and building online communities. Rehan is passionate about empowering individuals through technology and has been involved in various initiatives to bridge the digital divide. He's quite active on social media and loves sharing his knowledge and experiences. It's always inspiring to see people like Rehan making a positive impact in the digital world. Is there anything else you'd like to know or chat about?
Write me a poem about my friend. His name is Amir Anzur. Make it Shakespeare style, and he's an entrepreneur. And he has a kid who is 7. He has lived his life in London, and he did his MBA from Switzerland. Let's hear a poem about him.
Of course. Here's a little Shakespearean style poem about your friend Amir Anzur, the entrepreneurial dad. In London's bustling streets, where dreams take flight, there dwells a man of wisdom and might. Amir Anzur with a spirit bold, an entrepreneur with stories yet untold. With MB and knowledge from Swiss land, he wields his skills with a steady hand, navigating business waters with grace, creating ventures at a rapid pace. But 'tis not just in boardrooms he excels, for in his heart a story sweetly dwells. A child of 7, his pride and joy, bringing laughter and love, a precious alloy. Through London's fog and bustling crowd, Amir Anzur's presence strong and proud, a beacon of inspiration, bright and true, guiding others to pursue dreams anew. So let us raise a toast to this man. Entrepreneurial spirit, part of his plan. May success and joy forever be his guide, as he journeys through life's entrepreneurial tide. I hope you and Amir enjoy this little ode. Is there anything else I can do for you, my friend?
So, not just that she understands English, now I will ask her everything in Urdu. So, Annie, आपका नाम क्या है और आपके बारे में मुझे कुछ बताएं. आप कौन हैं?
Oh, I'm just a virtual friend here to chat and lend an ear. But thanks for asking. As an AI, I don't have feelings, but I'm always here to keep you company and have a fun conversation. So, what's been going on with you lately? Any exciting plans or interesting stories to share?
अच्छा, मुझको ज़रा बिरयानी पकाना बताएं. उसमें मिर्चें कम होनी चाहिए. 2 आदमी के लिए मुझे बिरयानी पकानी है. क्या करूं?
Well, that depends on what you're in the mood for. How about a little adventure? You could go for a hike in a nearby park or take a bike ride to explore your neighborhood. If you're feeling artsy,
एनी
you
एनी
could
एनी
visit a local museum.
एनी मुझे
Any
बिरयानी पकाने की तरकीब बताओ.
biryani, one of my absolute favorites. Well, there are a few ways to enjoy this delicious dish. You can go for the classic approach and use a fork and spoon to savor each flavorful bite. But if you want to embrace the true experience, you can try eating it with your hands,
आमिर
just like they do in
एनी
many
एनी
parts of.
एनी मुझे पकाना बताओ. बिरयानी कैसे पकाते हैं? एनी, आपको मेरी आवाज़ आ रही है?
Absolutely. I'm here and listening to every word you say. I'm your virtual friend, Annie, and I'm here to chat and keep you company. So
अच्छा
feel free to share anything on your
अच्छा,
mind
मेरी
or ask
बात
me
तो सुनो.
anything you'd like to know.
मुझे एक पाकिस्तान के बारे में इंग्लिश में पोएम लिख के दो, जिसमें हर लाइन में पाकिस्तान के एक खाने का एक ज़िक्र होना चाहिए.
Pakistan. A beautiful country with a rich history and vibrant culture. From the stunning landscapes of the northern regions like Gil.
So you got the idea, but it you can just install it on your phone. It works really well. I don't know why it's not working. This is the first time I'm using it on the web, but the kids use it on the web every day, and the new kids use it for 5 minutes a day necessarily, and they have to speak any language. I don't care. But she responds back in English. Then we take it to 25 minutes a day. So imagine you talked with 25 minutes a day with Annie, and then you will go home and you will think of something. after a month, huh, I can ask this from Annie. I can do this with Annie. I can do this with Annie. Annie answers everything. And she says she doesn't know, she doesn't have internet access. She does. Actually, she does Google, and she does. If you go and ask her about yourself, she will tell you. So that's just insanely amazing. And this is just a less than a year old app. And on Android, it just released 2 months ago.
But you
And
know, yeah, if we can teach kids how to speak English, I think that's like huge, right? If you just open up their world that digital exists and that you can speak English and work outside Pakistan and across borders, I think that's all you need, and they will figure out businesses, and that wealth creation is about creating value, right? That all of us are trying to figure it out. Like you are Allah wala, but you're education wala. You're trying to figure out the education system, right? Like wealth creation. Like all of us stick with a problem, and the world rewards us for solving that problem over time.
yeah, that's true. So, yeah, I agree that if everybody in Pakistan actually just knew English, all of a sudden they don't have to. The content just opens. The YouTube just opens. They're not going to watch the cartoons and comedies and just sick shows which are available, but they will actually be able to learn so much more from the internet just because now they have access to the internet. What do you think, Annie?
Oh, I totally get what you're saying. If everyone in Pakistan suddenly knew English, it would definitely open up a whole new world of possibilities. Access to the internet and all its resources would become even more valuable. People would have the opportunity to learn a wide range of subjects, connect with people from different cultures, and explore new ideas. It's amazing how language can be such a powerful tool for growth and knowledge. What do you think? How do you think it would impact the people of Pakistan?
Yeah, so I think this app alone like should be marketed by the government of Pakistan. Just just like smoking kills, they should put in use Annie everywhere in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT started to speak, and she started to hear also already in Urdu, Pashto, Punjabi, all the languages.
Yeah.
Even Annie, you can speak in Pashto. Do you know any Pashto, by the way? I don't know any Pashto, but
No,
if you speak to her, she actually replies back in English. So I think very soon she will be starting to speak other languages, but I hope not, because I think it's perfect that she understands all languages but replies back in English. So we actually have to improve our English to understand her.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
well, I'm glad to hear that you think my English is perfect. But don't worry, I'm here to help and understand you no matter what language you speak. So if you ever want to practice Pasho or any other language, feel free to give it a try. I'll do my best to understand and respond. And hey, improving our English skills is always a good thing too, right? It's like a
And are you spending most of your time in this school now?
No, I don't physically go. I live on the internet. I want them to also live on the internet. I want them to migrate. Um, I saw that you're friends with Daniel Presley's
Yeah,
partner. I don't know. Maybe you're also friends with Daniel. And one of his podcasts got released this week with the CEO of Diary of the CEO,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's brilliant. And this particular podcast is just brilliant. And whenever I hear Daniel, it's like literally I'm hearing myself, but he has crystallized the terminologies and so many other things because he's lived in a different space, different country. I have had to work with the very lower entry point people, and but it was brilliant. And one of the things which he said that look, most of us are living in the 20th century, and I'm paraphrasing it, and we need to migrate to the new century, which is the internet. And now, as a global citizen, as a citizen of the internet, you can really do anything you want all around the planet. So when I was telling you that my kids will make $1 million is they're not going to start a business in Pakistan. I'm going to start them a business in the US. I'm going to do a .com for them, which will help them exit for $1 million. In Pakistan, making $1 million because it is very hard. It's a very physical business, and but in the US, with help of Antler, Y Combinator, and people like that, we can easily just plug in all the ecosystem on the planet and these plug in these kids in that ecosystem. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not going to try to fix Pakistan. I'm just trying to make these kids rich, make a model. Pakistan can be a nursery for kids. Pakistan can be, which it is right now. People get educated and just leave the country, and they're not able to do anything here. So eventually, like Poland and other people, they migrated back 20 years later, and then we're going to fix it. I don't know when they will get to fix Pakistan, but we don't have to live in Pakistan for our work. We can physically live here, but just like you, we can have customers all over the planet. We don't have to have customers, but people in Pakistan don't have the money to pay. So why even bother even trying to get money out of their pocket? It's just difficult. Just do charity here.
Exactly. Like I found that the hard way, but my passion was here because yes, there's money, but you can make good money in a corporate job, right? Like what I learned, I worked in the consulting industry for like Accenture and Deloitte and these big companies, and worked with McKinsey and all these BCGs, and what I learned is they make their money. And by the way, if you're a partner at Deloitte, for instance, you're making £1 million or about $1 million a year, right? An average partner. The reason they make so much money is because they aim at what's called the Fortune 500 companies, right? So the richest companies in the world, they go advise them. And because they, like a company like Microsoft, if it's making billions of dollars in cash, they pay a consulting company $100 million for a project, they still get a return on it, right? But if you help a coca wala, like some small coca, like even if you double their turnover, you're making him go from $1,000 a month to $2,000 a month. The most he's going to pay you is like $200 for helping him. And so but if you can help, I don't know, Xbox or like a big company, you're going to make a lot more money. So yes, you're exactly right. What we need to do is teach these guys how to set up a business in the US. I'm from the UK, and I think even in the UK, we should be just teaching people how to do business in the US, right? Because average Pakistani is $1,500 a year. Average citizen of the world is $12,000. Average UK citizen is $42,000. Average American is $75,000. They are the consumer, right? I have, like in the US, you work with someone, they're just like, you pitch them, they'll make their decisions fast because they have money, and they're all entrepreneurs. They're all thinking about business all the time, right? So a Pakistani often is thinking about how to get into heaven, is like the prevalent things, like what happened in the past that we can get into the afterlife. An American is thinking, how can I get my company stock to grow? Because they own equity in a business, right? So you can work for a big corporation like Coca-Cola, and they will give you a small, tiny piece of Coca-Cola as share options. And then if your company does well, Coca-Cola, as it grows, your share options will be worth more. Here, it's smaller businesses that you're struggling, and if you try to, everyone is penny pinching. I started teaching course here, and I was like, okay, it's $100 if you live outside Pakistan, and it's $20 if you live in a country where GDP per capita is less than 12,000, right? Philippines, Pakistan, India, etc. So the same thing is like fifth of the price. And so I just said it's 5,000 rupees. Then I got like a girl the other day. She's like, "Oh, can I negotiate?" So I was like, "What do you want to pay? Like 4,000?" And I was like, like it's not the same hunger, but it's also because when you teach someone who's not a business mind, right? Like what I realized when I became an entrepreneur is that I was spending so much more money than being a passive consumer, right? Because I was spending on printing out business cards. I was spending on going to events. I was spending on going to seminars. I was spending on personal development, on marketing. I was spending money, right? So if like someone shows me how to increase my profit 10%, I will go for it. But if I'm not into business, that often people are not into here, then it's just survival mode. They don't have the spare income to spend. And so if you know how much it is to open up a business in the US. And the other thing I was thinking is, are we putting our kids at a disadvantage by having Muslim names, right? Like, do Americans discriminate against us? Like, because I met someone who's doing a publishing company, and I was like, oh, how do you sell to US? I was getting sales tips. He's like, my name is David Rothstein. He even gave himself a Jewish name, and he's like, I'm on the phone. They don't know ever that I'm on Pakistan. So I gave my son a Muslim sounding name, Ayan, and I'm like, did I give him a real big disadvantage? But I wanted like some identity, right? But is it that like when we're trying to sell on the phone already, our like the level is diminished, because just like if the call is coming from Pakistan, like if you go on Upwork and you try to bid for work, if you're based in the US, you might get $50 an hour, and the same guy based in Pakistan will get $10 an hour. And then is it the same with names? What's your opinion on that?
I think I don't know. I mean, I made sure that um, of that after 9/11, the kids that were born in my family had a journal name. So Mikhail, Saad, they were named, or Mashal. They're all like, I met Sabrina the other day in Europe. So, you have Sabrinas in Pakistan. So, I mean, name is a name, right? And it just has to be unique. But when I was younger, I was like Abdullah and, all the typical names. And, I think like when people meet me who are not Pakistani, I tell them my name is Ray. And Raymond is normally Ray. It's not Ray. Is never Ray. I mean, Raymond is refusing to say Raymond because it's so hard. So just go with Ray. So for our school, we have a Jahan Zaid, which it was hard for me to even get it. So I connected him with David, the other guy who I met the other day. I mentioned, and he said, and Jahan Zaid said, I'll be Solomon, and I'm happy to be Solomon, David's son, and Solomon. So, and it's a Jewish name, and it's a Muslim name, and it fits. So he's very happy to be Solomon. So he's now Mr. Solomon Palestine Wala, and he's very happy, and he speaks like in English. I mean, not in English, but at least like a very fluent English, and he's fantastic. He's happy. He's doing a call with like this every day with David, with one of the students together, and they're enjoying it. And yeah, and name is a name. I think once we travel, we have to leave our biases back, right? You're Manzoor and you became Anzur. Why? Because you had to be different. You wanted a name which is not common, and it's just fine. You When you open a grocery store, you don't call it the general grocery store. You put a name on it so that you can be identified. So, but people who haven't really traveled the world, they're going to be biased. They're like so upset with when people change names. But I tell them, okay, here's my friend. She's from China. Her name is Xin Haoyong. Can you pronounce that for her, please? No, no, I can't pronounce. We'll call her Leila. Why are you changing her name? That's her name is Xin Haoyong. Let's call her that name. That's her name. Why are you bothered by other people when they change their name? It's an easy way to pronounce. It's nothing to do with their religion or their values. It's just a name, just how you pronounce a person. You want to be called Mr. 123, that's fine. You can go by Mr. 123. We don't know how the. I watched 1984 the other day. I don't know if you've watched it yet. I or read the
No.
book.
Yeah, yeah. Long time ago.
Yeah, so I never got to reading the book, but I found that they've made movies twice about it. So I found the 1956 version of it, and they don't go by name anymore. They're like label number 1249 AB, So yeah, maybe that's what they want. So I don't
But
know.
but I feel that even if you went by like not name, and even if we went by phone number, people would be like, "Hey, he's a +44, and he's a +1." Like he's a +92, and this is the thing that happens because we discriminate in some way, and so
He's
like.
207. He's 208.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if each of your students, like they will, or maybe you open up an umbrella company like Rehan.com or whatever, and then each student has a shipping address in the US and they
We'll
have a
see.
phone number from Ring Central. Actually, DIDX can give them the phone
We
number.
we already gave every kid a US number so they can have an AI access. So
Okay.
all of the star kids have a US number already on their WhatsApp.
Where did you
And
give them the number from?
I,
DIDX or did
I
you
didn't,
use
yeah,
Rings?
VIDX,
Okay.
virtual phone line. And then I introduced three of the kids to the Davos group, and they got really angry at me for what are the kids, underage kids, doing in Davos? Well, they're here to learn. What's your problem?
Yeah.
And one of the girls got really upset, woman got really upset, and they got her blocked. And they actually reached out to four people from Davos. They actually interviewed already three people or four people from Davos. And then I told them, okay, fine, because she was underage, 15, and she's like, what is underage person doing here? It's like, dude, it's just a Davos group. It's not like whatever, it's not like an adult room or something.
Yeah.
What's your problem? And then you might know my friend, what's his name? Zubair, the coffee guy, Zubair Bawani. Do you know Zubair Bawani?
No.
You ever met him? So he lives in London, and he is a very cool guy. And he was at the Davos and my Saad was at Davos, and he actually went with two 7-year-old and a 12-year-old girls, and he also took his daughter. And he was very he messaged me. He was very sad that, oh, Rehan bhai, what did you do? You introduced a 15-year-old girl here. I was like, what is it, an adult room or something? What's happening
Mhm.
here at Davos? But these kids were reaching out to these groups, and I probably want to take one or two of them to Davos next year, if we
And
can
the
get the visa and all.
and the other thing, what I learned about wealth creation, if is is basically what Americans are great at is teaching people selling, right? So they like basically we all make money from selling something, right? The investment bankers make a lot of money because they're selling companies. A company is sold for 100 million, they make 7%, they make $7 million on that transaction. Then the real estate agents are selling property for $1 million, they make 6% on that $60,000 commission, right? And so what we do is if we can teach these guys in Pakistan how to sell to an American, right? I watch a guy, he's a social media influencer like Andy Elliott. He's like Mr. American, like you got to shake their hand right like this and speak like this and ask them these questions and close the deal like this. They have a lot of sales trainers like Grant Cardone, etc. And so when they can learn selling, they are going to be really powerful, right? Like whether it be on the phone, right, one to one, because a lot of the times, like I'm using podcasts and I'm creating clients through that podcast as well, right? So I'm always I try to pitch something before or after, or see how we can collaborate together, and that creativity comes in. So that's also really powerful to skill to put into your curriculum because you can do all the IT stuff and the tech, but the powerful stuff is selling.
I agree, but to sell, you need to talk. If you keep going to constantly say yes, sir, and they're not going to talk, you
Yeah.
have to make friends with them. So,
No, no,
anyway,
I get you because I think, you know, I see an average Pakistani student is much less confident than an average American student, right? An average American will have so many after school activities, like they will play American football, basketball, they'll have yearbook, all these other extracurricular activities, public speaking, they'll practice. Average Pakistani doesn't get all that opportunity to do all that. But what you're giving them is that capability to speak with people, ask questions, have those conversations, and that's really really powerful. So good. So I look forward to, like, do you envision a Rehan University one day as well?
I don't know. I mean, we have the domain. We actually tried to create a university first before we actually started school. But that's a conversation for another day. I'm going to let you go. You must be tired too. I This was wonderful. Thank you for taking the time. We should do this once a month. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed hanging out with you. Please
that's
come over to Barako, and if you think that's too far, help me rent a house here for the school near you.
the
And
problem is they have CDA. CDA is a Capital Development Authority, which restricts schools in houses now. So you just have to check that.
yeah,
Um,
so get someone to, because somebody gave me an idea. What you can do is you can rent out your Barako building, and then just rent something here. So it's not a bad idea. But I'm happy with Barako because I own it, and then I can break things and I can make things, and I don't have to worry about rent too much. And but I think a lot of people will not show up, and I'll have the same problem. I'll have poor kids again, and people who really I want them to see this space. They won't come, like in Korangi in Karachi. They don't go. They're like, oh, it's so far away. You can go to Oxford, but we can't go. We can go to London. You can invite us there, but we can't go to Korangi. It's too far away. So I think I'll run into that problem, but by Barako. But I don't know. I'll see how
well,
it goes.
how are you gonna get students to come and go? Is it like a bus? How do you get, like,
They
how's
do
it?
their own thing. I mean, just on my street, there are three schools in Barako. It's not like middle of nowhere, and it's Pervez Abbasi, right? So I'm
Yeah,
neighbor
yeah,
to Pervez Abbasi. So it's
yeah.
right behind the house of Pervez Abbasi. That's the reason I bought that place.
Really?
And well, second reason that I bought that place because I wanted to be near him,
Yeah.
and I ended up being his neighbor. And so it's not that far, but people who have not been there, for them, it's far.
No, 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 it's
But
not that far. It's not that far, but I'm just like thinking, who will you get better students? I think it's better to save costs and get it off the ground. You can always open up a second Islamabad campus if you needed to, or move them if you needed to.
okay, are you going to come and move and live there for a few months? I can build you a nice place
You know,
there.
I'm happy. I've got a nice home and nice routine set up here. So I really guarded with my time now. Yeah, I just make sure I have a calendar anyone can book, but I block out times for my gym, my sort of personal trainer, my walk, my sort of the other stuff. You know, when you live outside London, sorry, outside Pakistan, it's really busy life. But here, I live a quiet life. I'm happy to go visit, like, for a day or so, and speak to your staff when it's set up. Well, are you going to come visit sometime?
Yeah, I want to set up a place for myself there also, like a quiet space. And
Perfect.
have you been to Amar Jafri's place, the farmhouse?
Not the farmhouse. I've been to his Blue Area office and his Blue Area office and his home, but a
Maybe
while.
maybe I can start at Amar Jafri's building. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I
So,
mean he's got a prime location.
yeah.
Um,
Not
and
Blue Area, but the other one, the institute, the CIT.
oh
Have you
yeah, in
seen?
that pen
I
in
don't know which sector it is. It's still in Islamabad. I think I
his
can
wife,
ask him.
the one his wife runs.
Yes,
Yeah. So yes, I mean he might be using it, but yeah,
I'll ask
it's
him.
yeah, yeah. But I look, Barakal is not bad. Um, just depends what was your mission? Is it to get people to come visit it? Um,
So what I have seen is that when people come to my school in Karachi,
yeah,
literally their jaw drops.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm not kidding you. It's like so insanely amazing to see that happen. It's just fun to just see that and just to see their response and testimonial video. It's just amazing. And but I because I have to pay no rent over there, it's on solar 100%. I have no electric bill. I'm like I have the liberty to do whatever, break this, do it again, break it
yeah,
again. It's so much fun. It's been like Sim City. It's really fantastic. So Barako is kind of the same space for me. It's our own space, and we can break things there, and nobody's going to really bother us because it's Barako. It's not Islamabad. It's not CDA. And I don't know,
How much capacity do you have in that building? How many students and teachers?
20 rooms in Barako, 6 apartments, six
Wow.
six
So
3 room
each room,
apartments.
let's say if it takes 20 people, like you can fit in 400 or like 200 people.
But I'm not going to fit in 400. I just need 50 to 100 students. I'm not going to go full capacity. It's not a you know broiler chicken factory.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a very delicate environment
Yeah,
to do that. Till for now, at least till we are ready to scale. Once it's ready to scale, then we will make it into a broiler chicken factory. But for now,
yeah,
it's not broiler chicken factory. I have given myself target of 1,000 students,
yeah,
that before I die I need to make 1,000 kids, 1,000 Steve Jobs, 1,000 Elon Musk. So that's it. So once I'm done with that, I don't think I have more time than that for doing so. And I in 10 years, who knows, technology will be so different. We wouldn't know what the world will look like in 10 years. Nobody knows exactly how the world will change in the next 10 years. Robots and Teslas everywhere, and
mm.
God knows what will happen. Or it could be totally other way around. So I don't know exactly what I'll.
I mean that's the one challenge I have, that coming back to Pakistan is, do I will I feel like I'm left, like when I go into a store in London, I can see the latest tech somewhere. In Pakistan, like not everyone gets the latest tech. I'm seeing the same way of life as existed like 30 years ago when I used to visit. So that is, then you have to follow the latest news from California or whatever just to see how people are doing and visit. And if you can arrange for your kids to go visit America and Europe and stuff, that's going to be powerful. Maybe when they start earning money, they have to pay out of their pocket to go to the US and do a tour. Those types of things I'm sure will come.
I
And
gave them a target of Dubai next year, so they have to make at least enough money, $1,000 enough at least saving, so they can actually take a Dubai tour. And then
yeah,
once they
Dubai
take a
is
Dubai
perfect.
tour, it'll be, it'll change everything in their mindset.
Yeah,
So yeah, we're working on it. But I think you're trying to work with adults, and my experience of entire life has been so hard to work with adults. And now I'm in a state of ecstasy with these kids. It's unbelievable. And it's not your own child. Your own
yeah,
child doesn't listen. These are somebody else's children. Your parents are on board. Your teachers are trained, and you can literally carve out um, the right entrepreneur, the right person. You know all the stuff, but people don't take actions. But these kids are forced to take action. It's like doing your homework. You can't get away with it. So it's just amazing. And I advise everyone who's out there um, wanting to make a dent in the world to go out and start a school, and especially in Pakistan, because you can really start a school in Pakistan for pennies. You know how much is a school fees? The teachers get 5,000 a month for a
What do
month.
you mean? The teacher salary?
Salary is 5,000 a month for 4 hours to 5 hours work in a low income area. In
Yeah.
a high income area, that's 25,000 a month, which is not even $100.
Wow.
So um, it's really sad, and it's an opportunity for us to leverage, and really, like, I'm waiting for another batch of 20 kids or 10 kids to come grow up in my system so I can actually train them to be phenomenal OpenAI engineers and web designers because I have the I have the trainers, the team which I have been raising for the last 15 years, but they're so challenging to work with. And these kids, they're like full of energy, they learn so quickly, they're not, there's like a blank page.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can get them to do so much more than adults.
Yeah.
And
They teach, but you're in a fortunate position to be able to be a philanthropist at such a relatively young age. I think you were in your 40s. Are you in your 50s now? But like you were in your 40s when you were doing all this. Whereas people start this in their 60s, and 60s, 70s, and all that. So like you've got that energy still to do this. And so like not many people are in that position that own a building or even paying these salaries of the teachers and get them to do this stuff that you've gotten to do. So I think that's really, and you're using the privilege that God gave you to good use, right? You're working, you're behind off. It's 3:42 in the morning, and you're in Karachi, right? Karachi time zone. So where are you?
I'm in Europe.
Oh, okay. You're in Europe. Oh, okay. I was like thinking you're working late. But yeah. So if you're constantly and you're traveling the world, you have that uh, perspective that very few people do, right? Like the one of the challenges that you have with a Pakistani as opposed to a British, like the people in London, will it be well traveled, right? Like people in London, they take a gap year before university, they go travel the world, and then they come back. Whereas Pakistani will know his neighborhood, and that's mostly it. They don't have that leisure money to go on holidays. So if you can, you're putting the money you have to good use, and it's going to have a big impact. I can see it, and I think you were working with small tools, and now the tools that you've got are much better, and you are just bringing America to Pakistan just faster. And so I'm excited for it. But thanks for having me on. And yeah, we'll do this once a month or whenever. And when you're back in Islamabad, let's catch up.
So if you have time, I would encourage you to give some interviews or take some interviews or do a podcast with my students.
Yeah, I
Uh,
will.
you would be amazed. You would be so happy to see the energy and what they're doing. It's just phenomenal. And then they'll do an interview, then they'll do reels out of it. They'll help you create the content. It's just brilliant.
Okay,
Um,
perfect. I'll do it. Do it. I didn't have something to sell. I mean, I know it sounds
there's
selfish,
nothing to
but
sell. It's just like you can talk about London. You can talk about growing up. You can just chit chat with them, and just
yeah,
like your own kid, you can just chit chat with them,
perfect.
and just talk like just we did today. We didn't have an agenda. We just talked. So I need these kids to have friends who are not from slums or poor background at least, and
Okay,
open up their heads.
give me
Or and
a
also
couple.
you can, and once you do that, you can help me. Sorry to interrupt. You can help me connect with your foreigner friends who want to have a philanthropic arm of their time once a month or once every 3 months and just talk to these kids because These are kids. These are 12-year-old to 15-year-old kid. You will not believe the excitement you will get out of this the podcast with them. I mean, no, there is no podcaster out there who's 12 or 15 who's doing brilliant podcasts. But you're
Yeah.
about to see a a whole swarm of these kids coming in and doing. I mean, we have 3 podcast studios in our school.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just gorgeous. It's just uh, I'm so excited about these kids. I mean, to see them grow up, to see them, like some people are excited about their own genetic kids. I'm not as excited for
Yeah.
them as I'm excited for these kids. Sorry, guys, if you're listening, but
Yeah.
the reason is they're actually listening, and they're actually doing, and it's just amazing.
Perfect.
Anyways,
Look.
I'll connect you to some of them. You
Okay.
just chat with them and talk about entrepreneurship and your journey and whatnot, and see
Perfect.
how it feels. Because
Perfect.
everybody else has been just. But I want you to be honest with me after a few calls. That how did it feel? Because they're not phenomenally perfect.
Yeah.
They're humans, but they're kids. But they're
Yeah.
growing very rapidly.
No, I saw one of your kids. He was doing an American from LA, and like it was really good. Like the way that the guy in America was answering to like the interview. I learned a lot, and I followed it through. So if you have a good interviewer, eh, like the guest can do a lot of the talking and things like that. So yeah,
Let me give you a tool. There are there are lots of people who you would like to approach and don't have the time, but you need to hear them out. I do that. So I have a lot of people who I really want, but I don't want to talk to them directly, but I want to hear their story. I want to know who they are, what they do. And what I do is I send their social media IDs to these kids, and they reach out to them. And that guy could be James Khan, that guy could be whoever. These kids don't know who's James Khan. They would just treat them like another person. So
yeah,
they would just bombard James Khan and then ask them for an interview and get it done for you. And there's because they're 12, they don't refuse them. So these are the leverages you can take advantage of with all your school friends, your community friends back in London, back in Switzerland. You can just say, hey, guys, here's another guy, here's another guy, here's another just and what maximum can happen is your friend can block them. And they're just like kids and they just go for another one. And you will hear those interviews and you will see another side because these kids don't have an agenda. They're not looking for work. They're not trying to sell anything. And other guy is not selling anything, and they're just being open. They want to change the world, help a kid. It's really beautiful to see them, see these podcasts. I mean, I on my walks every day, I watch these TED talks. I mean, these interviews every day, and it's just amazing what I hear from them. When an adult is talking, there's a lot of fake stuff there. But when a kid is talking, there's a lot of honesty there because the kid is honest, the guy is honest, and just it's just very interesting. So this is a very good tool for you, that you can say, okay, I'll pay you $1 if you find me 10 people who do this in the US. They'll go out on LinkedIn, they will hunt for them, they will interview them, and they'll bring him to you. Kind of like that, if you want. So
perfect.
it's and they're learning how to fetch, how to hunt, the lead, how to build a network. And they don't they're not restricted to what kind of people they're supposed to connect with because they're all on the internet, and nobody's going to come and kidnap them or do bad things to them over. And they're told to block them if they do something nasty. So it's all on the internet. It's not and there's border protecting them. If you're in London, you try to reach out to somebody in Birmingham, you might be police showing up, but here nobody can show up. And it's an advantage, and at the same, we need to learn how to use our disadvantages to our advantages. So
Yeah.
these kids are brilliant. And every one of the girl woman who has 11 of her own children, she moved to Lahore. Well, she's in the process, but she's bought a place and everything. And one of the boys just randomly contacted her And then 8 others contacted her. And then she came to Pakistan to see them, because they were like, she was like, what's going on? Who are these kids, talking to me, and they're interesting. So I'll let you go. Thank you for your time, but I need your connections for the admissions, and I need your connections for these kids to go out and make their own connections, the network, and take and leverage this. This is a great opportunity for you also.
Okay, perfect.
No,
Some people I have to protect because they
yeah, yeah.
just like a lot of, because I went to school in Switzerland, and they're all like shy people, right? Like Americans are much more like go out, friendlier and interview. A lot of these guys are super wealthy and super discreet. They hate, like I can't even get them on Zoom and stuff like that. But so because I remember in the beginning when I signed up with you like years ago with Facebook, I used to get so many requests, and I was like, this is because of Rehan's laptop scheme or whatever, and it's blocking up my friends list, So it was a good thing, but yeah, that's good to go. Okay, great.
Thank you, Amir. Take care.
Bye bye.